Is this the angry mob I keep hearing about? I just want to say one thing about that. Embrace it. Stop. The strategy right now on the Republican side is to try to convince the independents, the new voters, the excited voters on this side to feel a little dejected, to not work as hard, to not go out and vote. So they think this angry mob stuff is going to work to deject you. Every one of you, make it go viral and just go, hashtag, I am the mob, hashtag, I will vote. Before I tell my story, I also want to just talk about the Orange Wave a little bit, because we do have a pretty deep connection. Orange was my daughter's favorite color. That's how I got into the color orange. I didn't know until weeks after she was murdered that it had anything to do with the gun safety movement. For Father's Day, that was not a day that I was able to celebrate. In fact, I was pretty depressed. And I put out on social media that rather than having Father's Day for me, I wanted to flip it, and as a father, make it about my family. And that day I decided to start what I was calling hashtag Orange Wave in November, which actually started as a challenge to dads. It's kind of morphed into a voting movement for me, but it started as a challenge to dads to do something to show their commitment to gun safety. Because I gotta tell you, moms, you have been awesome, you've been vocal, you've been working. And kids, I used to think, and I used to have a 14-year-old at home. I still have my almost 18-year-old at home. And I used to think the cell phone was destroying you guys, and we were wrong. The cell phone became your weapon. You guys are amazing. Moms and kids, you've been awesome. Dads, not so much. And so that's why I started my Orange Wave in November movement. It was to get dads motivated and involved. Sometime later, somebody called me, actually upset. They're like, somebody's doing an Orange Wave in Pennsylvania. I was like, great, how do I get in touch with them? You know? So, because this is not a movement that anybody owns. This is something we all want. I want to tell you why I'm here. Because I am here as my daughter's voice, and the voice of the other victims of gun violence. Back in October, I lost my brother to the cancer that he had from his service in 9/11. My brother ran the triage for the World Trade Center. And he spent the last years of his life with cancer. He passed away in October. At the time, I thought that was as bad as things could get. Things couldn't get harder, things couldn't get worse. While mourning the loss of my brother, life was moving on. We're back in Florida. February 14th rolls around. A normal day in Parkland, Florida. My kids are getting ready for school. And I was thinking of ways that we could have a really nice Valentine's Day evening. The morning started like every other morning in my house, which to be honest was like chaos. The kids were running late. The dogs were barking and being annoying. My wife and I needed to get out the door. And that's really what I remember about that morning, was rushing my kids out the door. That's what I remember. It's what I don't remember, and it's the reason I'm here today, that will haunt me forever. Because I don't remember, as I rushed my kids out the door, the very last time I saw my daughter, that I said, I love you. I can't remember. wasn't supposed to be the last time. I sent my kids to school. That's all I did that day. I thought I could protect my children, but I couldn't. My daughter was the toughest person I'd known. She stood up for kids with special needs. In fact, volunteered her time. My daughter would walk in front of a bully if she saw a bully bullying someone else. And my daughter was not a big kid, but she was tough and she didn't care. I remember I used to tell her, Jamie, go get an adult. I don't want you to get hurt. And she said, Dad, they underestimate me because of my size. And she meant it. To this day, I have kids coming up to me saying, you'll never believe what your daughter once did for me. She was the toughest person I knew. And on February 14th, her toughness was on full display because my daughter was murdered in the hallway where there was video. There was no video in the classrooms. My daughter fought for her life until the very last second. Running down the hallway, she made it within 1 second of getting into the stairwell to safety. And she's running down the hallway, running for her life, until boom! A single shot through her spine. Single shot. You want to know why I'm here today? I don't know if my daughter suffered. I don't know if she died instantly. I hope she died instantly. But you know what I have up here every second of every day, even as I talk to all of you? It's this fear that she didn't. It's this fear that while she was waiting for help, she wasn't able to tell anybody she was still alive. I don't know. And that is why I'm here today. Could have been you. Could have been your kids. Could have been your parents. Could have been your spouse. Could have been your cousin. Could have been your best friend. Could have been you. I don't have a choice. That is why I'm here today. The crazy thing is, everybody says to me, give it time. You know, it'll get better. Doesn't. Actually, every day kind of gets a little worse. Every day, it gets harder to deal with what we've lost. Every day is a new reminder of loss. And I'll just give you an example. Last week, we were actually in New York for my brother's unveiling. And a couple of weeks before that, online trying to make a flight reservation for my family. I always made it for 4. And I put that number 4 in on the website, but I only filled in 3 names. And it wouldn't let me save it. I couldn't figure out why. I'm no longer 4. So you want to know why I'm here today. You want to know why I go around this country. You want to know why I need you all to work and vote. Because this was preventable and this is fixable. So, because of what happened to Jamie, I have put my voice into this movement. You mentioned the gun lobby, the NRA, who all said originally, can't talk about this now, it's too soon. Right? You all hear that. Or they say, a little down the road, too much time has passed. We can't talk about this anymore. You know what? To them I say, my voice came into this movement the day my daughter was died. It's never going to leave this movement. You took my daughter's life. I do blame the NRA for holding our legislators and legislation hostage. What's going to make this time different? Not only have I joined this movement, look at the moms, but you kids. You kids. Keep doing what you're doing. These kids pushing us adults to fix what we broke. And we can't leave it up to them to be the morality in this argument. We have to step up and do it for them now, so that they can go to school, they can go to a movie, they can walk in a public park. This doesn't just happen in schools. In fact, this morning, I was in Cincinnati in Fountain Square. For those of you who don't know what that is, it was the site of the latest mass shooting just a few weeks ago. Except there was only 3 people, so that's no longer considered a mass shooting. But tell that to those 3 families. And the crazy thing about that shooting, law enforcement there did a fabulous job. And so everyone there was patting themselves on the back that it was only 3 people. But here's the thing. It was almost 6 minutes of shooting. The school where my daughter was shot was 6 minutes of shooting also. The real difference? They got lucky this kid didn't show up with an AR-15. Because he could have. And you talk about background checks, this kid, he came from Florida. There's a real dilemma going on in Florida right now within our Department of Ag that was supposed to do background checks. They were kind of forgetting to do them. That is the reason this issue requires national attention. It is the reason why you need somebody who feels it in their bones and believes it. So, as part of my effort, as part of the Orange Wave, I have taken on the NRA and the gun lobby. They are now my favorite pastime. Going after them every single day. And let me tell you something. We are going to win. We are going to break that lobby. We are going to make them irrelevant. And let me show you how I know. And don't hide. Does anyone in this crowd smoke? Raise a hand if you do. Well, I'm impressed. Well, remember the